Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. So today in this video we'll be discussing about hypothesis testing. So it is one of the very important concept in biostatistics. So and it is very important when you start doing your research work. So any research, whenever if you start, the first thing you have to do is you have to create a hypothesis. Okay, so what hypothesis means, I'll try to explain in a very simple manner, because I'll be not using very technical term in this video, because most of the time students get confused, they are not able to understand, especially if they are a biological science student. So I'll try to bring in a very simple term. Okay, for example, take one example. I want to prove that, or if I'm giving one statement, suppose this is my statement, that by taking more amount of salt, it will increase the blood pressure of a person. Okay, so my statement is high salt intake increases blood pressure, right? So this is my statement. Now I have to do all my research work, all the experiments, just to prove this statement, that high salt intake increases blood pressure, right? So this is one statement which I want to prove, right? Now before proving anything, you have to consider another statement, that there may be chance that high salt intake does not increases blood pressure. That is also one statement, so I have to consider that statement also. So my next statement will be a high salt concentration does not increases blood pressure. And please pardon me if somewhere any mistake in English, because English is not my native language. So don't concentrate on the language, better concentrate on the concept. Okay, so these are the two statements. One statement is high salt intake increases blood pressure, and the second statement is high salt concentration does not increases blood pressure. Okay, because why we have to take two statements? There is two reasons. First thing is, whatever research you are going to when you start, it's not always necessary that the same result you will get, like positive result you will get. Sometimes it may be chance that whatever the statement you want to prove, it will not be proved. Okay, you get the other, like maybe you are trying to prove that high salt intake increases blood pressure, but you are not getting that. You are seeing that by giving high salt, it is does not increases blood pressure. Okay, so these are the two statements. So hypothesis testing simply means any predictive statement which we test scientifically, okay, by taking different parameters. Okay, so that is hypothesis testing. Okay, now here we have taken two statements. One statement is simply true, that is, we know that high salt intake, it increases blood pressure, and here we are not doing anything, it's just a statement. So this statement which we are not trying to prove, it is already true. So this is called as null hypothesis, right? Whatever the statement we have made and we consider it as a true statement, that is null hypothesis. Now apart from this statement, we will consider all other alternatives where we can say that no, this high concentration of salt does not increases blood pressure. Okay, we have to take all the different alternatives also. Research is not about just going in one direction. You have to search for all different possibilities where you can disprove also. So that is called as alternative hypothesis, right? Or research hypothesis. Fine. Alternative hypothesis is mostly denoted by HA, and null hypothesis by H0 or H0. Okay, so alternative hypothesis is basically the hypothesis or the statement which we want to prove. Okay, we are doing all different experiments just to say that high salt concentration will not increase blood pressure, because our statement is this, that high salt intake will increase pressure. So I hope it is clear to you what is null hypothesis and what is alternative hypothesis. So I'll show you the exact definition from the book, technical term, so it may be helpful for you. So what is hypothesis? A research hypothesis is a predictive statement capable of being tested by scientific method, okay, that relate an independent variable to some dependent variable, means different parameters we are testing. Now hypothesis test, why we are doing? Because it enables us to make probability statement about population parameter. Means by this hypothesis we can make certain probable statement that okay, whatever research we have done, okay, it is true. Now what is this statement actually want to say? It simply means whenever we are doing research, okay, we do research on sample. Okay, so whatever you are doing research, suppose you want to test the blood pressure of some patient, so you are not able to test it on a complete population. You will test on certain people, certain group of people, so that is called as sample. So based on whatever the sample will give you result, based on the sample you can say okay, the same will apply to the population, right? So hypothesis test will help you to make statement that whatever the result sample has got, okay, the same will be applicable to the population also, right? So I hope it is clear to you why we have to do hypothesis testing. First, it helps us to understand different possible alternatives, like whatever we are trying to do the research, whether it is true or false. So all the different possibilities it will take by taking null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis. And second, it will help us to make probable it will help us to say that whatever the result of sample, it will be applicable to population also. So now there is one important thing, most of the time even in ICMR, if part A aptitude questions that is asked, so I'll tell you that. Okay, so whenever we are talking about null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis, so always remember that whatever the conclusion will come after you will do all the experiment, so finally you have to tell only like whether null hypothesis is correct or alternative hypothesis is correct. Any of the one you have to select, right? So based on that you can say only this two statement. First, either we fail to reject the null hypothesis. For example, if our null hypothesis is correct, okay, so we cannot say that oh, null, we have to accept null hypothesis or it is the true it is, because we are not trying to prove null hypothesis. We are trying to disprove null hypothesis or reject the null hypothesis. So what we can say, if then we are not able to disprove, so we can say we fail to reject null hypothesis. Or the next statement, if null hypothesis is not correct, then what we can say, reject null hypothesis in favor of alternative hypothesis. Now these are the two statements, directly it is written in ICMR, fail to reject or reject null hypothesis. We cannot say that accept the null hypothesis, right? So this is hypothesis testing basics. Now we'll study a two-tailed test and one-tailed test, what it is, and if time permits then I'll explain some numerical also. Okay, so I hope you can see this diagram. Let me fold this page. Okay, so this, okay, I'll draw this, then you will understand better. Okay, so here we'll see what is two-tailed test and what is one-tailed test. And in this one-tailed you can have either right-tailed or left-tailed. So whenever you collect the sample, okay, so the sample size will be bigger, like 100, 200. So finally what you will do, you will try to find out the mean value. Okay, and all the values if you plot, you will get something like this, some distribution values. Okay, like this graph you will get, so this bell-shaped graph. So this is called as normal distribution. Fine. If you get a graph like this, okay, these are called as what to say, modes. Just a minute. Okay, these are called as modes. So here in normal distribution you have just one mode like this, so it is unimodal, right? But if you get this type of curve, like two modes, this is called as binomial distribution. Okay, this is normal distribution like this graph, and this is binomial distribution. And suppose if you get, okay, let me explain first this thing. These two sides, what you are seeing now, it is called as tail. Fine. So if the graph is more shifted towards one side, either it is like this, suppose, okay, or the graph is shifted towards this side, so these are called as skewed distribution. So I hope it is clear to you. Three different type of distribution: normal distribution, binomial, and this is skewed distribution. Now the tail, wherever the tail is, based on that you can say it right tailed or left tailed. So this is towards the left side, so left tail. This is towards the right side, so it is right tailed. Okay, it simply means to say most of the values, mean values, it is concentrated towards the left side, and here most of the value it is concentrated towards the right side, so it is left tailed, it is right tailed. Now if the value is in between, suppose here all the mean, median, mode values lies in between, okay, between the two tail, okay, if the value lie in between, so it is called, it is two-tailed test. Okay, now we'll try to understand what with this graph what we can understand. Okay, so okay, now you can see here these tail region, this is a right tail region and this is the left tail region. Now we are talking about the two-tail test. Two-tail test means this between value, whatever the pencil shaded value, this is the region which is called as acceptance region. It means to say whatever the value, if it comes in this region, then we will accept the null hypothesis. Okay, means we fail to reject the null hypothesis. Okay, if the value comes in this region, okay, this right side tail region or this side region, then we reject the null hypothesis. Okay, means to say we are not able to then we reject the null hypothesis and we will accept the alternative. Accept the alternative is not a correct statement, but we can say we are not able to prove null hypothesis if it comes in this region. So this is called as rejection region. Now the question arises, when we can start rejecting our null hypothesis, that particular value where we can start, we can say, okay, after this value we cannot accept, we fail to reject the null hypothesis, okay, or we reject the null hypothesis, sorry. So this is a value which is called as critical value, or we say it, we denote it by Z value. Okay, so both the side, both the tail side, here also and here also, we have critical values or Z values. So if Z value, okay, after this, if any value comes, then we'll reject it. Suppose here, now in between, you can see here it is a 0. So from 0 to this side it will be plus value, and from this side it will be minus. Okay, so if the value comes like it is minus 1.96, if it comes below this, okay, then we can reject, and if it comes above this, then also we can reject. So this is a value from where rejection zone started. Okay, now this okay, so I hope this two-tailed test is clear to you. Now I'll explain you one-tailed test, then we'll understand what is level of significance and p-values. Okay, so the next term is in hypothesis testing, that is level of significance or LOS, and it is also denoted by p-value. Okay, so somewhere we can say p-value also instead of level of significance. Okay, so what level of significance simply means, suppose that you are doing an experiment. Okay, so you have collected the sample and you are trying to do certain research, and based on the experiment you want to prove that statement. So as a human, there is a chance that you will commit mistake, certain error will come. So how much percent of error is acceptable? Because definitely we are going to do error. Nothing, there's like it's not possible that 100% it will be correct. So some error you have to consider. So how much error you can consider, or how much acceptable level of error which is accepted in our research, that is called as level of significance, which we can denote by alpha. Okay, so alpha is written as, most of the time in our research we take a level of significance as 5%. Okay, or it can be sometime 10%, alpha is 2%. Okay, so this is level of significance, means where we are ready to accept 5% error, at least 95% is correct. So whatever that two-tailed that curve what I have shown you, so that only it is trying to say that here 95% is accepted and 5% we are considering the error. So in that 5% alpha whatever you are taking, if 5% you have to distribute both the side, left side also, right side also, because it is a two-tailed test. So if you divide 5, okay, so 0.25 will come here, okay, and 0.025 will come here. Okay, so both the side you have to take the alpha values. Fine. Now what this alpha value will give you, when you will take this alpha value, suppose here in the two-tailed test we got 0.025. okay, just a minute. Okay, now you have one table where based on your alpha value you can get the critical values, that is Z alpha value. Okay, so our main whenever you solve the question, what you have to do, you have to calculate the Z value, because based on the Z value you can say whether we are will be able to reject the null hypothesis or fail to reject. So when we will solve the question, then you will get the more clarification, because just theoretical part maybe you are not able to understand, but have patience. Okay, so this chart you have to remember, although you will get from the table also, but if you remember, then it will be helpful. Suppose in the question if it is given that your test is two-tailed test. Okay, so in two-tailed test, if the alpha value is 10%, means we are ready to accept the error of 10%, then what will be the Z critical value, Z alpha? It will be 1.64. At alpha 10% in two-tailed test, Z alpha will be 1.64. If in two-tailed test alpha value is 5%, then the Z alpha will be 1.96. If it is alpha value 2%, then Z alpha will be 2.33 critical value, and if it is 1%, then it will be 2.58. Similarly, if it is right tail test or the left tail test, means all the value is concentrated on the one side. If the level of significance alpha is 5%, then Z alpha will be 1.64. okay, if it is 2 because it will be half. If you are talking about right tailed or two tailed, means you are taking just one side, so it will be half. So just remember this value, at what percent of alpha what will be the Z value. Okay, so it will be very helpful for you to understand the numericals. Okay, so I hope it is clear to you. So now we'll see what is the we told that okay, level of significance is simply means we are ready to accept the error. So what is that error in what we are talking? So that we will see type 1 and type 2 error. Okay, so these are the types of error which we can commit in our experiment. Okay, so first is your type 1 error. So this error, if I take the analogies, for example, you are going for certain medical test. Suppose you want to do your blood test, and in the blood test you want to get the positive negative result, but they have given you the positive result. So somewhere that term is there, false positive or false negative, something like that. So that is the only error. So here type 1 error or the alpha error, it simply means rejection of hypothesis which should have been accepted. Means to say the hypothesis was true, we have to accept that, but we have rejected that hypothesis. Simply means our null hypothesis was true, but we have rejected it. H0 is rejected even if it is true. So this is mostly false positive, that is type 1 error. Type 2 error simply means accepting the hypothesis which should have been rejected. So just opposite. Here we have to reject the hypothesis, but we have accepted it. So it is false negative and it is denoted by beta. So whatever the level of significance we were talking, alpha, so that simply means, just a minute. Okay, so earlier I have told you level of significance. Okay, so level of significance simply means it is the acceptable level of type 1 error. Means what is type 1 error? Where we have to reject the just a minute. Okay, where we have to accept the hypothesis but we are rejecting it, so it's an error. So how much this error we can commit, that is called as level of significance. Okay, so or p value, what we denote. So p value simply means it is the probability of rejecting the null hypothesis when it is true. It's an error because we want to prove that the statement was correct but we have rejected it, so it is an error. So how much that error we can accept, that is level of significance, which is denoted by alpha or p value. Then there is another term which is called as confidence interval. Right, confidence interval means how much, it's just opposite of level of significance. Level of significance is saying that how much we can commit error or how much we are not sure or unsure about that this particular statement is true. Okay, confidence interval means how much confident we are that our statement is true. So in that just a minute. Okay, so this region, what you are seeing in acceptance region, excuse me. So from here to here means in this range we are confident that our our hypothesis is correct. So if the value comes in this region, then the hypothesis is true. So this interval is called as confidence interval. Like here we are 95% confident that our hypothesis is true, but these regions, these two sides, here we can, if the value comes here, it means to say we have to reject it. So here alpha values will come. Okay, so I hope this all the terms related to hypothesis testing is clear. Now I'll show you one example so it will be clear to you. So before going for example, let me explain you some terms which are asked, which will be written in the question, so it will be very easier for you to understand.